we're actually doing a documentary on the goat yard and Stephen's life.
Oh, really?
So I'm wondering if you guys would love to share some Stephen stories with us.
I would. I'm his aunt.
Oh, perfect.
I knew him when he was this big, or smaller. I knew him when he was born.
What kind of a kid was he?
Very much as he was when he grew up. He was a wonderful young boy, and he had 2 older brothers. The 3 boys were very close in age and close together, and I had 5 boys, so he had all these cousins and a bunch of boys, and he was wonderful. Yeah. In fact, I miss him. He was a character, there's no doubt about it. Did fabulous things. Very smart. Very, very smart. Very smart. This is his uncle over here, Uncle Jack.
Yes. Well, of course.
Thing around this place. All right, lighting's a little better. You don't mind?
Yeah, I really shouldn't say this because I'm going to be speaking in a few minutes on behalf of on his life. I'm the first person they've asked to speak to Steve. Of course, he's my nephew, and of course I've known him since he was a baby and also a boy. And the big thing with one of my sons wrote me a letter, and the big thing about Stephen is there's so many people here tonight that he shared parts of life with. And they all have a special memory of him. And that memory that they have is the one he wanted to share with them. Because he was a man of many ways and many talents, and really almost a genius when it came to mechanical things. He could fix and take apart anything. And he had so many dimensions to his friendship. And I can't say anymore because I'm going to be talking about him in a few minutes, and so I have to just say that I loved him very much, and I knew him ever since he was a little boy. So it was a great privilege to have seen him growing up, and he always showed a great fondness and spirit and everything that he did. And when things went wrong, he'd laugh about it. He'd laugh. All the mistakes, all the missed things where the city of Detroit wouldn't do right by him or this or that, he'd laugh about it. And so he had a marvelous, marvelous spirit of life. We hear about David Runyon and all these type of people. Well, that's who he was. But every person that's here today knows him in a different way because they shared a different piece of his life. There was no constant way he was. If he were talking now, he'd be saying something different than I just said. So I should stop with that. But thank you.
She can tell us
No, I'm not.
Stephen's story.
The tandem.
You guys can tell the story.
I mean, I remember that he took a tandem from our house. It was an old one. He was going to fix it for us. Someone broke into his bike shop and stole it. They stole a lot of things from his bike shop. This was before he had the boatyard and everything. And it had to be 15, 20 years. All of a sudden, he came up to my mom's farm and had a tandem bicycle for her. An
old Schwinn
tandem and
but,
returned it.
But he had the neatest bike shop.
He did. He was inventing things all the time, like recumbent bikes before anybody knew what a recumbent bike was. I mean, I think he was brilliant, honestly. I do.
Quite the inventor. Can you tell me about some of those other inventions that kind of come to mind?
You know what? I've heard of them, but they're not coming to mind for me. But no. But he was a very special person.
A lot of people talk about this spark in his eye that he had ever since he was a baby.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about that, like what you guys kind of noticed about him.
I think he was just full of mischief. I think that spark was just like his mind was always going. It's just like even when he would go to the city council meetings and just stir things up. It's like he's not going to let the sleeping dog lie. He's going to see what the dog's lying on, and yeah, it's very unique.
Yeah, but so very brilliant, very amazing.
Yeah,
amazing,
absolutely.
Person.
Yeah, it's a loss. It's a big loss, So.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys sharing stories.
I don't think I have anything original, other than
if I could talk about Stephen, what I would say is that Stephen gave to everybody and treated everybody equal. He gave to everybody and treated everybody equal. And as a younger cousin, watching him play, and it was always like you were a surprise guest. Like he had that energy, you know what I mean? Hey! You know, it was always this unbelievable, and it could be middle of the week, you know, and I will tell you that this is a funny story. My wife's not here, but I took every girl I dated down to the goat yard as part of my coolness. So he was my cool factor. I would use Steve and the goat yard as part of my cool hip factor. So I'd come, it would always be on the tour, and everybody would be like, oh, wow, you know, it's so cool. So that's an honest moment there. What else can I tell you? Nothing other than he was really wonderful to my brother Tim, who went through some, and Stephen, all the relatives, brothers, whatever, took him under his wing and just loved him. And as a little brother watching a cousin love a cousin, it was, but yeah, Stephen, yeah, we miss him. I miss him. I miss seeing whatever car he's driving currently, riding down the street, barely making it. And, and my father, have you talked to my dad?
I have not.
So you need to talk to my dad, because that's his only living his uncle, my dad, Uncle Jack Petz. And so there was his mom is my father's sister.
Okay.
And then Uncle Bob, so there was Bob Petz and Jack Petz. And so, but he would be.
Can you point him out?
Yeah, let's come meet him, because he's got a lot of, when he was little and growing up.
I think that was the guy we talked in the corner, wasn't it?
He's built like me. Sexy man. I believe he is.
Okay, we did talk to him. I'm sorry.
Jack, yeah. Sylvester, yeah. But if you wanted to get some off-color fun stuff, he knows them when they were little. So yeah.
No, that was great.
Now this is another first cousin who would have some great stories. Now this is the other side of the Petz family. Come on, Jimmy, get in here. This is Jimmy Petz. Now you can tell him Stephen's stories, because he has real stories. He lived, and they were all peers. I was just a baby. My mother said, "Stay away from them." Yeah, that was
Well, actually, that's true.
You're in.
That's true. You know?
So
That
we'd
is
love
true.
to hear your favorite Stephen stories.
Oh my Lord, there's too many. There's too many. You know, I don't have a favorite. I really don't. I spent most of my childhood growing up with him, and he was just a lovely individual. And as for a story or anything like that, it was just life with him. You know, there was nothing particular that stands out, because it was all the time. You know, so.
So what kind of things did you guys do as kids?
You name it, we pretty much did it. We got in some mischief. I guess a lot of times I remember going out with him on his family owned a Chinese junk, and we sailed out in the lakes on the junk and stuff, and that was a lot of fun stuff. But we used to play down on the Delphine. We played there. We went swimming in that pool there at Rose Terrace. Grosse Pointe was our playground, so you know we just had a lot of fun, you know. And you know, like I said, we had our share of rascaliness. Let's put it that way. And I'm not going to tell you any of that. But aside from that, my sister might be able to, because she's my elder, and she remembers Stephen from a smaller child. Ginny? This is my sister, Virginia. This is Virginia Sadi.
Ginny.
Ginny. And she's a Petz, and that was my sister. And they want to know some interesting stories about Stephen Hume.
Oh, you know, right off the
all
top of
yours.
my head, right off.
I'm all yours.
Well, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I mean, because I knew him ever since he was a new baby, you know, and he was always the one who had something going. He always, even when he was this big, you know, he always had a plan. He always was on top of the world. That was Steve.
and nothing could keep him down. You know, he had 2 older brothers, and he might as well have been the oldest because he was just go getter, awesome. And I can't think of any specific instances right now. I'll try.
Have you been to the goat yard, I assume?
I have not been to the goat yard. No, because I lived in California and then Montana during the goat yard years, and then I moved back to help take care of my parents. And
can you tell us about just the relationships? I think it's an inspiring relationship between Sue and Stephen.
That you got to ask somebody else.
No?
I know he loved her. I know he loved her to death, but nope, somebody else has got to fill you in on that because I was out of state.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's okay. We appreciate for what you told us today.
Okay.
Thank you. That was great.